Arguably the best part of employee AI, we're going to take a look at the conversation AI. This is the emerging, growing way that we communicate. I'm talking text messages, live chat, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, meta messages, DMs, all of that sort of stuff. And this is the AI agent or agents that control all of those conversations. This is most valuable for any business anywhere, because I honestly think live chat on a website is just an accessibility problem. And so for many businesses, they don't have that at all. But every business, I think, should have an Instagram and also a Facebook page, and also let their customers text them. There's really no limit to who this is best for, but it's going to be most valuable when they already have inbound leads or they have a lead gen already happening. The more leads they have, the more conversations they'll have, and the more valuable the conversation AI is going to be, because this also does control the SMS. Running lead gen, getting a name, email, phone number, the best way to communicate is to send them a text message, because the conversation AI triage, qualify, evaluate, and even set them into whatever that next step of value is. And so we're going to go to conversation AI. This kind of spells out the steps that you'll run there. But if we go to the first one, it's going to link you over to conversation AI, which is now going to pull me into the settings area ultimately, where you can configure these AI bots. And their process now is a combination of the knowledge base that's shared with voice AI and independent bots just for conversations. They have kind of a quick build of general Q&A and appointment booking. It takes you to the same place. So I'm just going to go ahead and start from scratch and get you into the builder here. So 4 main tabs for creating a bot: the settings, the training, the goals, and then just sort of like managing the dashboard of all of the output there. And so we're going to start with a name. And so I might call this our support bot. The status, it really is most valuable under autopilot, especially if you're using AI employee. It's unlimited usage. It's all included. There's no reason not to just have it on autopilot. And unless maybe you're testing, but suggestive is not super valuable. And obviously turning it off is not going to be functional. Now I get to choose what channels. As you can see, we got 6 channels here: the DM channels, Instagram, Facebook, SMS on phone, chat widget, which is put as an independent channel there, but it's really still SMS. It's just via the chat widget kind of lead capture form. You can set up bots per channel if that's relevant, or you can just be like, I want a bot for all the channels. Doesn't matter what channel they're coming from. I want them to interface with this channel there. And then you can fine tune the settings. The default is the sub account name. And then you've got a couple of autopilot figure settings here. So do you put a delay, like force it to wait 2 seconds to reply? And then the maximum amount of conversation settings that you can go to back and forth. This does cap out at 25. You can always come back and make sure that's the latest up-to-date threshold there. But so even on the unlimited plan, it will only go back and forth 25 messages before it's going to kind of sleep mode the bot there. That's intended to be a safeguard in case you got 2 bots chatting. It's just like endlessly back and forth. And I will say with AI employee, your bot costs are fixed, but for certain channels like SMS, and even WhatsApp, there are additional fees for sending a text message. And so they kind of put this reasonable limiter on there so that someone doesn't accidentally have a $10,000 phone bill. And then, so we'll save that and continue. Now we're going to go into the bot training. And this is where you can really start to refine it and specify what it's intended to do, and also tie it to a knowledge base. So I've got a few knowledge bases. You can actually reference multiple knowledge bases depending on what you're having it refer to. And you see they kind of bring the knowledge base training options in here. The third option here to upload files, which will probably be live by fall of 2025, isn't here. But as soon as it is live, I'm sure you'll see it in here as well. And that's where you can sort of train it in a live interface and also even run tests for your bots. And the third and final piece here is goals. And so this is really the magic behind any of the conversation within voice AI is like, what do I want it to do? And so you've got a combination of prompting for your goals as well as actions. So in the prompting, you're giving it kind of personality, the intent, as well as kind of like what are some decision-making guidelines for the bots to consider as it's having this conversation. But then you can be like, okay, what are you trying to do? What are the goals here? And add in everything from booking an appointment, which there's fixed settings here. HighLevel does a lot of the heavy lifting where like I picked the calendar. I chose whether it books the appointment or just does a booking link, whether it wants to stop talking to the bot after it's booked, whether you want to trigger a workflow after the booking, whether you want to transfer to like a specific employee on successful booking, allowing the bot to cancel the appointment, allowing it to reschedule. Those are newer functions there. And otherwise, don't create conflicting rules here. If you're allowing it, make sure that your prompt doesn't say you can't do it. So we can set it up to book appointments. We can set rules for when you turn off the bot. So you can enable or have it disabled here. So if someone says bye, it basically, you don't need to keep on being helpful. Like you're sunsetting the conversation. You're not always trying to drive the conversation, which a lot of times AI bots are that way, where like they are continuers of conversation. So really great to engage, really, not natively set up well to sunset or, say goodbye. And so this is where you can literally specify when. So if they say bye, you're like, here's what you can say. You can say, thank you for your time. Have a nice day. And that's it. Sunset the conversation well. And then you can also set a time to reactivate. So within 24 hours, then it's listening. Now it's not doing outbound, but it's just saying, don't keep on re-engaging there. And after 24 hours, or, this can be, you can specify this to the minute after 30 minutes. Then it goes back to listening, being prepared, and handling it just like a normal bot would. So you can set up that scenario. And so this is kind of the cool thing about actions, similar to actions with the voice AI. You're not limited to one. It's not like you're setting, this is the one action for this bot. It's just, when do you want it to do these things? If you want it to do these things. So you can have it add more contact information, similar to voice AI with updating a contact field. The action name, what field is being updated. These are the custom fields. As well as what to update the field with. So this is all prompt based. And you see, I might have one field before, like this is the car make. We'll save this. Oh, I guess we got some required fields here. We're going to update the website. Let's say their website. Go ahead and save it. And then I can add new ones. So if I want to update multiple pieces, I just have all that contact information logged here, and it can receive it at different times. The intention is these work in tandem, just like voice, where your prompt needs to align with the actions. If you don't prompt it to ask for their website or their make of the car or whatever it might be, it's never going to ask them, and they're probably not going to volunteer it. I mean, they might, but they're not likely to. So the idea is construct a prompt that guides the conversation in the way that you want it to be guided. And then you have these actions such that when the information is received, something's done with it. It's logged to the appropriate field. It triggers a workflow, whatever it might be. And so that's the next one here is the workflow triggers. This really opens up the whole world of automations. Anything you can imagine with automations. I want to send them a postcard. I might have, but it's like when you get their address. So when you get their address, I actually probably would log it as the custom field to make sure the address is in there. And then you're going to fire this workflow inside of for sending the postcard there. And the last one is you can transfer. So there are certain scenarios here where different channels, different actions, depending on how guarded and how many like bumper rails you want to put in place, you might want to transfer. You kind of have a triaging bot determining what do they need, and then you hand it off to other specific bots that have very well-defined goals. I will say, depending on how complex the scenario is, the more specific the instructions, the more effective the output. Same thing with humans. Your specialists are typically better than your generalists. And so sometimes pairing bots in that way, where I've got like a generalist triaging bot, and then it hands it off to specialist bots, it's a really good combination. And so the last tab here is our dashboard, which, as I mentioned, is going to give you kind of some insights into who's interfacing with it per channel, per date, how many success actions happen, triggers, appointments, how much time was saved. And so it's just like a little bit of like a dashboard to see how effective it was and give you some KPIs and reporting on your bots there. And so in case you didn't know, what we just covered in Conversation AI, it's actually a part of a larger free course that I've released. If you want to dive into all things AI employee, you can check that out here.